Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Help for the Guildless. My name is Cole Spire, and holy crap, has it been a long time. Now, I have to apologize for being away for so long. I missed a bunch of holiday wishes to you people and my followers, and I apologize. A couple of things have happened. One of them being I got sick. And very sick at that. Three major things happened that I wanted to talk about, and I wasn't able to because I sounded like, pretty much like a cat was scratching the inside of my throat. Actively. In heat. While on fire. So, I apologize. And then the second thing that happened is my schedule got very hectic. They added quite a few extra hours to my shifts at work, and, I haven't had as much time as I would like. So, what do I have to say for myself other than I apologize? Happy late holidays, since it's very, very late. We are already into almost the middle of January. So, I am going to try and do 3 rapid-fire succession podcasts, and I had a little extra equipment come in during the Christmas holiday to make the transition a little bit better, and if I'm doing this right, something is about to happen that may blow your mind. I doubt it's going to blow your mind, but hey, here it goes. Hello. If I did this right, and I hope I am, you actually are getting to see me. Mind blown, right? I know, nothing to look at. This is me. I finally got a webcam, and I hope that I will be able to get something that will allow me to start streaming videos on Twitch. Until that happens, I'm stuck with this, and you're stuck with me. So, with that being said, like I said before, I'm going to be trying to do 3, possibly 4 podcasts in rapid fire succession after this one. So that'd be 3. And I'm a little apprehensive about putting this up because I'm not used to having my face out there. And, well, I am trying something new and trying something for you guys. As you can see behind me, it is early morning, butt crack of dawn that I am recording this. So, if I ramble a little, I apologize, just got off work. So, what do I want to talk about on this monumentous occasion of me showing my face? Well, let's talk about tech. I am a little bit behind. It's been a couple months, as I said before, so I apologize. This is just my opinion on something that has been going on, and it's in the industry of the geek, and that happens to be video games and movies, which are definitely geekdoms at the moment with everything that's going to be coming out in 2016. I am so happy I have free tickets from Christmas that a couple of my friends gave me to go see some of these movies. The next one I'm actually really looking forward to is Deadpool. But that is a podcast for another time. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Zoe Quinn. Yeah. I don't like talking about Zoe Quinn because she's a lying, conniving con artist bitch, but tomato, right? So Zoe Quinn is actually getting a memoir. I don't think she understands what the term memoir means. She's getting more of an autobiography. A biography. I can honestly say I don't believe she actually wrote what is coming out. It's going to be called Crash Override, Saving the Internet from Itself. Unfortunately, Zoe Quinn hasn't done anything but, anything for herself. And the book's not even out yet. It has a publisher, and it's not even done yet. And something happened. And what happened is her biography has been optioned by Sony to become a movie. Yes. This kind of hit Yahoo News, and it was all over Facebook for a while, and unfortunately I have to agree with most of them. This was a movie that no one asked for and nobody wants. And, well, really no one wants. It's going to be nothing but a hit piece. Like a bad hit piece, not even one that you can go to laugh at. It's going to be her take on what happened. It's being hailed as a Gamergate movie, and it's really not. This is definitely going to be Zoe Quinn's telling of her honorable stance against internet misogyny and trolls, which she happens to be one of the biggest bullies on the internet. Oh no. So here's my problem. There are two terms in the movie industry that have to do with biographical movies, and one of them is based on a true story, and the other one is inspired by a true story. And those two words are extremely important when we are talking about these type of movies. Based on a true story actually has to have some historical fact, has to have some historical background to it, where, like the recent movie that just came out, and again, I'm months behind, but it's still recent, Suffragettes with Meryl Streep. It was based on a true story. They added a couple things to give it the movie je ne sais quoi, and they added people that didn't exist, that took part in the movement that weren't really there. But some of the historical figureheads were real people, and they got some of it right. But it was still made to be entertaining. That's based on a true story. Inspired by a true story is something completely different. So much so that it doesn't have to have anything to do with the source material whatsoever. I could do a movie inspired by a true story about how I got that clock right there. And the movie could be about kamikaze pilots crashing into each other and saving the day in World War II. It has nothing to do with the clock, but it was inspired by that clock because of how I felt when I bought the clock, or what the artistry on the clock reminded me of. It was inspired by it. Inspired by a true story doesn't have to have any historical fact or any actual fact whatsoever in this movie. And unfortunately, I think that's what Zoe Quinn's movie is going to be. It's not going to be based, it's going to be inspired, so she can make it however she wants. She can spin certain things that happened however it would make her look good. And this is bad. This is very, very bad. We saw this happen once before, and that was the SVU episode. And the progressive left really got to look at how the media takes what they say verbatim and kind of showed it back at them. And, well, they didn't like it. Once you stare into the abyss, eventually the abyss stares back at you. That's what this movie is going to be. And here's the kicker. This is one of the things that just makes me laugh. And it's Scarlett Johansson is being looked at to play Zoe Quinn. Because when I look at Scarlett Johansson, I immediately think of that has to be Zoe Quinn's twin. If Scarlett dyed her hair purple or blue or pink or whatever Zoe's wearing it as, put a bunch of piercings in her face, and gained 50 pounds. Yes, believe me, I understand. I know what it's like to be a little overweight. I'm not bashing Zoe for how she looks. I'm just saying Scarlett Johansson is just going to be there for name only. And that's bad for Scarlett Johansson. Because Zoe Quinn is bashing on the people that made her famous. Think about that. Scarlett Johansson really got a lot of fame because she portrayed who? Black Widow. Other than that, who had heard of her before? I have. Me, right here. Do you want to know how I know? Because she was in Eight-Legged Freaks. Movie I own. Movie I enjoyed. Movie which is pretty damn funny, even now. A lot of people didn't know who she was. But as soon as she got cast as Black Widow, a lot of people knew who she was. And most of them were geeks, nerds, gamers, people who read comic books. So, Miss Johansson, if you're listening, don't do this movie. It's going to be bad for you. Really bad. And I'm going to jump to something else. And I'm going to talk about the game industry. And one of the biggest slogans that the SJWs and feminists and Arnita Sarkeesian type people throw at pro gamer gators such as myself is, we are not trying to take your games away. There's a problem in that. One, they've already done it once. Not here in the US, but in Australia. They got Grand Theft Auto 5 pulled from 2 major stores in Australia because of feels. Okay. You could still buy it in Australia. You just couldn't buy it at Target or Kmart. Or Walmart, I believe. Now, and it's still going on, even a couple months later. Like I said, I'm a little behind. Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball 3 is not coming to the US. I honestly don't care. Why don't I care? I don't play the game. I never have. I played Dead or Alive when it first came out. I'm not into the Tekken type fighting games. I grew up on Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, where you can throw fireballs and ice balls and whatever and do these amazing super moves. Virtual Fighter, Tekken, and Dead or Alive weren't really my cup of tea. The closest I ever got, besides playing the original Dead or Alive, was playing Soul Calibur. Now, why did I play Dead or Alive? Well, it got promoted pretty heavily, and it was promoted because of the 3 females. And then, being a young teenager that I was, jiggle physics had a lot to do with it. Not gonna lie. But I didn't enjoy the game. It was cool, and looking back on it, the graphics don't really hold up, but it's gotten better over the years. And now, I heard about Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. I'm not a big volleyball fan, so I didn't really give a damn. And apparently it's a very good volleyball game, which is surprising. And it had mini games, and you could buy different outfits, and it was all about the girls, and it was completely something, it had nothing to do with canon, and it was a fun game. It was, I guess, supposed to be a one-off, and it sold so well that they did a second one, and the second one got even better and got better reviews, and it was even a better volleyball game. So, Koei Tecmo has decided that they're not going to release Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball 3 here in the US. And it was asked why. And they released a statement that basically said, We do not like how your game's media is portraying how we see women. Um, and we don't want to deal with social justice warrior media. They actually said social justice warriors, which is pretty funny because it means it's gone a lot farther than just the first world or the Western world. It's gone over there. And when it was first announced, people kind of were like, "Wait, what? Why?" And then they read the statement and they're like, "This is retarded." Well, Play Asia, which is a company that is used to import Eastern games to the West, said, "We'll take up the slack. We'll sell it to you. We have the translated Eastern or European version of the game. You just have to purchase it through us." This started kind of a firestorm on Twitter and Facebook and probably Tumblr, I don't know. And it was to get Koei Tecmo to release the game. You have people that want to buy the game over here. Release the game. So much so that there was a change.org petition that I actually signed. Like I said, I'm not going to play the game. I don't like the game. I don't want the game. But I don't agree with them being afraid of being censored. And that's exactly what it is. They don't understand why we're over here dealing with this stuff. And they want to protect their intellectual property. You're not going to sell a game in a market that you know is not going to, or that when you bring it over, it's going to be lambasted in the media, and especially games media. And they're protecting their property. I respect them for that. What I don't like is that they're afraid. They're afraid of censorship. They're afraid to have it brought over here because of censorship. And that's not right. It should never be right. And what do we have? Who do we have to blame? Nita Sarkeesian and her ilk. And that is them taking our games away. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. So the only thing I can do is support the petition, hope that it does come out over here. And if it does, and it gets pretty good reviews, maybe I'll pick it up. Who knows? I think what Koei Tecmo needs to understand is that only 3% of the total sales come from games media. Most of your sales come from actual word of mouth and friends. That 3% that buy it and then say, "Oh, dude, you have to play this game. It's really, really good." That's going to make me play the game. Game reviews are great, but have faith in your fans. The fans that have gotten you to the third installation of this game and the fifth of the original fighting game. Come on, Koei Tecmo. Have some faith in the Western culture. We will treat you right. We've treated you right before. We'll treat you right again. And then jumping back to movies, I'm going to do some circular logic here, and you're going to have to try and follow me. It's going to jump around a little bit. There's a trend starting. And I can't say it's an actual trend because it's only a couple movies that it's happening to. But there's a trend starting in Hollywood that is scaring me. I am a movie buff. I am a fan of movies themselves. Every single first date I have ever been on has been to a movie. I went to midnight openings when it wasn't always a midnight opening. I went to a midnight opening for Harry Potter 3, which was my very first Harry Potter movie to see, at a midnight opening that was 4 cities away, because that was the only place doing a midnight opening. So when I say I'm a fan of movies, I mean I'm a fan of movies. I'm a fan of each genre. I am a fan of bad movies, as I've stated before. So this new trend is kind of worrying me. Now, as I say that, I'm going to bring up a name. The name is Melissa McCarthy. And, like I said, you're going to have to follow me here. She is a great actress. She's a funny actress. I have enjoyed everything I've seen her in. And I watched Spy recently with my girlfriend. And I checked out of the movie at the beginning half because it was just bad. It was trying to make fun of every spy movie you'd ever seen. And Melissa McCarthy was playing this mousy, unsure of herself character. And it was bad. It was boring. Like, I couldn't follow... I could follow the story, but it didn't suck me in. It didn't make me want to keep watching. And then halfway through, they let her be her. They let her be funny. They let her be sarcastic. They let her be abrasive. And it made me laugh. I started getting into the movie then because it was starting to become funny. And the saving grace of the beginning of the movie is Jason Statham. If you have a chance to watch Spy just for Jason Statham and Jason Statham alone, it's ridiculous and he's hilarious and over the top and everything you want him to be. So this movie was about her. Melissa McCarthy, I mean, she was the star of the movie. She wasn't being backed up by anybody. It was based on her. The Heat, she was a main character, but her co-star was Sandra Bullock, and I own that movie too, and it's great, and I bought it right after I rented it from Redbox, and the movie is hilarious. Spy got better when they let Melissa McCarthy be Melissa McCarthy. And this is where my jump in logic happens. So we know that Ghostbusters is coming out. This is not Ghostbusters 3, because the video game that came out was technically Ghostbusters 3. This is a reboot to the series, but it's a reboot that is gender swapped, is the best I can say. It's an all-female cast, except for the secretary. I'll talk about that in a second. So Melissa McCarthy and 3 other actresses are playing the Ghostbusters. Knowing that she can carry a movie by herself, I am not too worried about Ghostbusters, because it was written by Dan Aykroyd. I think it's being directed by him as well, or at least co-directed. And I have faith that he is going to give us what we want as fans of Ghostbusters. And I believe Melissa McCarthy can carry the movie. Here's my issue. The secretary. Janine Melnitz was never over-sexualized, never objectified, and was a very integral part of the Ghostbusters team. If you watch the cartoons, or if you followed the movies and paid attention. In the cartoons, eventually she was so important she became a Ghostbuster. Here's my problem. The gender-swapped version of Janine is going to be Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself. Which, okay, that's fine. Thor can be a part of the movie, I don't care. Chris Hemsworth has acting chops, he's fine. but he's going to be a joke. You realize that, right? Janine Melnitz was never a joke. Chris Helmsworth's character will be. He's going to be objectified. He's going to be hooted at, probably. He's going to be fantasized about. And he's going to be made fun of. Because he's a guy who's a secretary. That wouldn't fly now. And it didn't fly then either, because they didn't treat her that way. But they're going to treat him that way. Now, there's nothing I can say about this movie. It's already in production. It's almost to post-production. We're getting it soon. And I will go see it. But one movie does not make a trend. Technically, 2 movies don't make a trend either, but the second one is kind of important as well. I'm going to say recently, but again, a couple months ago, it was leaked that George Clooney, who owns the rights to the Ocean's 11 franchise, wants to reboot it. Good. The Ocean's 11 franchise was amazing. It brought you into a world that you wanted to be a part of. You were cheering for the villains. Honestly. You're cheering for con artists and thieves and wanting them to succeed. They did a really good job in doing that. So I was very pleased with all 3 movies. And hearing that he was going to reboot it, I was pretty happy. And then I heard what he wants to do with it, which is he wants to do a gender swap cast. He wants to do an all-female cast. Why? Why? There's no reason for it. Just to pander? Really? To pander to people who aren't even going to go see the fucking movie? They just want the all-female cast, which unfortunately you can't do. There are roles that need to be portrayed in the Ocean's 11 franchise that have to be played by men. You don't think so? Take in consideration this. The twins, the Mormon twins, why were they doing every single job? Because they were jack of all trades? No. Because they were easily forgotten. They were able to blend in. They could do the jobs that were open, out in the open, and be forgotten. Unfortunately, even if you're an unattractive woman, you're going to be remembered. If not just for being unattractive. They can't do this as a full gender swap movie. And the reason they can't do it as a full gender swap movie is because of roles like that. Do it 7 guys, or 7 girls, 4 guys, or whatever. It doesn't have to all be women. Ruben's part could be played by a older actress. I brought her up already. Why not? Meryl Streep plays Ruben's part. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think she could pull it off. He wants Sandra Bullock to star, and which is fine because the last movie they did, Gravity, it was pretty much just them, and they got to be really good friends. And Sandra Bullock is an amazing actress, so I have no problem with her playing the lead. Rusty could even be a female, and Sandra Bullock playing Danny Ocean, it can still be Danny, D-A-N-I. But why the full gender swap? Think about it. There's no reason for it. Have some men and mostly women. That's fine too. Or, I mean, you can't do half and half because it's 11, so you could do 5 men, 6 women. It doesn't have to be 100% gender swapped. I'm not saying it's not fair. I'm just saying it's not going to work. You're pandering, and pandering sucks. So, Mr. Clooney, please. I know you're not going to listen. If you do, hey, put me in the movie. I don't care if I'm an extra. I'd just like to be part of it. Please, Mr. Clooney, think about what you're doing. You're pandering, and you're pandering bad, and it's not good at all. You're pandering to a community that is not going to give a shit how your movie turns out. Because you could do an all-female cast, and they'll find something else to complain about. These people cannot be pleased. Ever. If you make excuses for them, and you give them what they want, they will still push for something more. Do not ruin your franchise with doing a full gender-swapped movie. Because you're not hurting them. You're hurting people like me, who are fans of the series, fans of movies. You don't have to pander to us. We just want to see it. And that's pretty much all I have to say for this new episode. This is going to be a new format. I'm going to try and find a better spot than here. I'm noticing some problems in the background. So, thank you for watching. I don't know if I can call it a podcast anymore. It's more of a vlog. But I will be doing a couple of other ones. Like I said, I'm going to try and do rapid fire. My schedule is still really kind of hectic. And I will hopefully do more. So thank you again for watching. My name is Cole Spire. And thank you. If you liked what I have to say, please hit like. Even subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are right down below. And I want to say thank you and welcome to all the new Twitter followers that I have gotten over the last couple days. I hope you enjoy what I have to say. I'm going to try and be more active on Twitter because my job, although hectic, is very boring and I have a lot of free time. So I'm going to try and tweet more. So please share me around and stay tuned because I'm probably going to be doing more stupid things like this. So thank you again for watching and have a good night, everybody.